I don't know, I like both of them, so we'll see what works out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing both right now. Like, I work full-time as an engineer, so I think the first step's to get out of there, maybe move to New York, and then either find a part-time job while I wean off it, and then kind of do this stuff.
Yeah.
If it allows me, you know. I'm coming to a head in my life, and it's gonna happen in like 9 months, and I really gotta prepare for it. Right now, I'm just kind of cruising because I'm like, still in college. Nothing really matters yet, but everything will matter pretty soon. About how I'm gonna live.
Hi, this is Lauren Engel of Sidewalk Talk. Today I'm here with Hazy Eyes.
Hey everyone.
So were you born in Philly or?
No, so it's close. I was born in the suburbs of Philly around Reading, and then I grew up around there and moved to the suburbs of Philly on the Jersey side, where I currently, well, that's where my parents live now, but I live in Philly.
Oh, and are your parents from like Philly?
Yeah,
or?
my whole family.
So your whole,
around there.
oh
yeah.
wow.
It's very small circle.
And you come from like a very musical family, right?
Yes, so my grandfather plays upright bass and a lot of other things. My grandmother played multitude of instruments as well. And then my dad plays sax and oboe and piano and all that kind of stuff. And my brother and I both play multiple instruments. I play upright bass, violin, guitar, piano, a little bit of drums. But
did you select those instruments or?
No, they were selected for me.
Wait, so how? So your parents just kept on like throwing you new instruments to learn?
Yeah, well, the upright bass thing was like, kind of, my grandfather had them, and I don't know, they're not like super easy to come by, so they're like, well, we have one, you're gonna learn it. So I was like, okay. And
they put you in lessons?
Yeah, I took lessons for about 5 years.
For all these instruments?
Yeah, piano was the longest. I took violin and guitar for maybe 4 or 5, and then I took bass for like probably 5 or 6.
Oh, what was the decision behind doing that and not like perfecting like one instrument really well?
I don't know. I mean, I think I stopped them. I think I stopped because I didn't like some of them. Like I stopped violin, not that I didn't like it, but I stopped violin and guitar because I know them. I don't know. I never really planned on being like a performance person. I didn't really have any interest of being like a music performance major or like anything like that. So I figured that once I had an understanding of it and understanding of music in general, I went on to something else.
Were you competitive at one point?
Yeah, so I did, for upright bass, I did like all the all-state orchestra and stuff like that.
Yeah, you were like ranked like what, top 5?
Yeah, I was in like 5th chair or something like that. Yeah.
But you loved it, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of I've gotten a lot of long rehearsals. It was like 11-hour days sometimes for like 4 days in a row when you just like play the same songs over and over again.
So you were known as the musician guy in school?
Yeah, I was that kid, yeah. I always hung out in the band room.
How else would you describe yourself back then growing up?
I don't know. I mean, I used to skateboard a lot. I feel like I was a little skater kid. And then I kind of found music, and then that kind of consumed me. Because I first was in like the kind of classical stuff, then I played in a lot of like heavy metal bands.
How did you get from like the classical to like the metal?
You know, I don't know. I think I started like with like punk and Blink-182, and then it kind of just got deeper that way, and somehow found its way to metal. Because like I started when I was like really young. I remember listening to like Taking Back Sunday and Blink-182. I was like, geez, I must have been like 10 or something, like really young. And then I guess it got a little heavier as I got into middle school and just kept going. And then eventually I got out when I got to college and kind of got into this electronic type scene.
What kind of music were your parents playing in the house when you were growing up?
I actually I don't remember. They listen to a lot of like Frank Sinatra and that kind of stuff. Like, I also do listen to a lot of classical music themselves, because my dad was a big classical player and so was my grandfather. So I think it was kind of that was their stuff, and that's what kind of influenced me in the beginning.
Do you have a favorite composer?
Ooh, I really like Holst. Yeah, I'd have to say Jupiter. No, is it Jupiter? Yeah, from his Planet Suite. That's like my favorite classical piece, probably.
Oh. Did you like school? Like in high school?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Were your parents pushing you academically?
Yeah, kinda. I think they didn't. Well, I guess pushing is the wrong word. I just enjoyed it. Like I'm really like I always did like my homework the first thing I did when I got home. Just like that was kind of my choice though.
The best
No one
musician.
ever really had to. No one really had to tell me to do that. I don't know. Just kind of. I don't like having things to do. I like finishing my things that I need to do really quickly so I can like work on other things.
Wait, what do your parents do?
My dad's an engineer. My mom works in dialysis.
Oh, what were your favorite subjects?
I was probably big into math and science because I'm an electrical engineering major at Drexel right now.
So kind of just like your dad.
Yeah.
Did he like inspire you in some way with like the math and science, or it just came easy to you? Genetics.
Yeah, I guess it kind of came easy a little bit. I never really had a terrible amount of trouble with it. It was always just kind of made sense, so I guess there was a little bit of predisposition there.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of always realized that you were going to go to college.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, there wasn't really a question about that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, like, it was good. I enjoyed college. College was, like, I don't think a lot of things would happen in the music career if I didn't go to college. I met my manager at college.
Oh, how?
One of our professors just, like, connected us, and then I worked closely with some of the...
Like, what professor?
So they have, like, a music industry program at Drexel, and one of the professors there I'm, like, pretty close with. His name's Ryan Schwab. He does a lot of, like, mixing and stuff for people in our kind of genre, and he kind of connected us and has been sort of guiding. Like I remember I used to send him really crappy demos when I was like still a freshman, and he'd be like, "Yeah, these are kind of cool." And like as time progressed, they got a little better, and now I feel like I can send him things and not feel bad.
Did you have a circle of like producer friends around you?
No, not really. I kind of do things just in my room. Like I have producer friends, but not a lot of people who like I hang out with and make music with. Really, it's just kind of me out there. That's kind of why I'm out here right now. I'm trying to finally get out of my shell and do sessions with other people.
Oh, so how did you get from like the metal band stuff to like electronic?
You know, I don't know. I think I just like started listening to it one day. I don't think there was a clear transformation. I just think like as I was ending high school, I was kind of getting tired of. I feel like a lot of it sounded like the same, and a lot of it was getting real similar. I kind of wanted something fresh because I've been listening to it for like years at that point. So I just kind of like started listening to like dance music, and I'm trying to think of like how like the first type of stuff I was listening to. I think it was just like remixes of. I think I started with remixes of pop songs, then I got more into it that way.
Do you remember what artist it was?
Who did I listen to a lot when I was like really like first getting into this? I don't know. I need to remember that more, but I honestly forget. So I just remember like it was probably these like big room remixes of like pop songs you would hear on the radio. I guess there was like a lot of. I think Clarity by Zed was one of the first ones that got me into electronic music because that came out like when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember that being like one of the first ones where I was like, wow, this is interesting. Mm-hmm.
So why do you decide on like electrical engineering out of all the different types of engineering?
I think that's the one. Actually, I was going to be a chemical engineering major because I took like chemistry in high school and I did a lot of that. But then my senior year, I took physics and like got into like circuits and stuff like that, and that made me change my like major in Drexel. So I don't know. I like being able to like build things, and that's like one of the main things you can do with that degree. Or is it like chemical or mechanical? It's like a little more like bigger concept projects where like if you're electrical engineer, you kind of tinker, and like it gets you into like synthesizers and stuff like that, which sort of relates to music.
But then, did you kind of know all along that you wanted to do music full time?
Well, I'm still figuring that out now. 'Cause, I would like to. I mean, ideally, but you know, not gonna make it. I'm not gonna like assume things until I see it. But yeah, I'd like to. I think it's always. I mean, I do really enjoy engineering, so I don't think it'll be like a. I don't know. I like both of them, so we'll see what works out. Yeah. Like I'm doing both right now. Like I work full time as an engineer on co-op for Drexel right now. I work at Lockheed Martin doing engineering, so you know, I find time to do both somehow.
What do your parents think of you like going to do music? Do you think it's going to be like a waste for them to like have you do like college for electrical engineering in the future?
I don't think it's a waste. I think there's been so much that has happened there that no matter what I do, I think college was integral to whatever I end up doing.
So they're supportive?
Yeah, they're coming around to it. At first,
Yeah.
I don't think they got it because I don't know, like it's kind of new to them, like the whole genre and stuff. But they're becoming more supportive now. Yes.
And then, so how did you get like your music out there initially?
You know, I guess the first thing that like happened was I did a remix for like an artist called Side that did kind of well. First, it was remixes. Like I did a remix, like my second thing I ever put out was like, yeah, it must have been second. It was like a remix of that song "We Don't Talk Anymore" by Charlie Puth and Selena Gomez. And so that came out like officially, and then that kind of leveraged into the like Mr. Suicide Sheep type family. They released my first EP.
Did you send it to them? Like,
yeah, it was like kind of cold.
To all these people?
Yeah, it was just like cold, and they got back to me, and like they liked it a lot. They decided to put it out, and that kind of spiraled into then connecting with Majestic Casual, who released my second EP. And then from then, I'm here now. I'm about to put out more stuff just through myself, but that's been a lot of like just messaging people and people just responding to me, kind of.
So you got management like way before all this happened?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd say like we've just been working together as friends, and now like he's sort of solidifying his management stuff while I'm sort of like starting like doing this. But he's now in a new management company that he and his friends are partnering up again. So it's like it's still the same person, but yeah, it's been it has changed.
Was it difficult going from doing remixes to figuring out like original music?
That's a good one. Yes and no. I think I sort of approach things in a similar way. I guess it's not that difficult for me because I've always been making like original demos, like just I don't know. I guess beats is a weird way to say it, but like songs that don't have any vocals. I've always been making them, but I have a new appreciation for like lyrics and a top line and a nice actual song. And that's what I'm trying to like go for with my new type of stuff, is actually have good songs. Like it's one thing to have a good production, but that's only half the battle. I feel like that's what I've been focusing on a lot, like in the past, but I need to change that in the future, which I'm going for now.
Yeah. And then do you have like a booking agency now that you're able to tour?
Yes, so one thing that happened last year was I met an artist named Shallou, who's gotten pretty big in the past 2 years.
How did you meet him?
He emailed me one day, I think last summer, asking for he was asking for a wave for one of my like songs to put in a mix, and then we just like met up a couple times, and then he toured with an artist named Quinn XCII, who I also produced a song for. And then when he was on tour with Quinn XCII, he asked me to play I'd met them at the tour stop, and he asked me to play a few shows with him, which kind of ended up being this year in like February, I believe. And we kind of had been talking with Paradigm a little bit since last fall. And they came to see me at those shows, and they were like really excited about what I was doing, and then that's how what kind of got signed to them. And now I'm touring with Petit Biscuit in the fall.
Yeah, have you met him?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna meet him in I guess when I see him. Yeah, I've never met him.
How did the song with Quinn XCII come about?
That's a funny one. So with Mr. Suicide Sheep, they have an artist named Millennium, who was putting out like a remix EP. He put like an album out, and then he put a remix album out of that, and they asked me to be on that album, and I happened to remix the song that Quinn XCII was featured on. And I guess like the day it came out, he just DM'd me on Twitter and was like, "Hey, like I really liked your stuff. Like I'd love to work on something together." And then he sent me like the acapella for the song I produced. It's called Flare Guns. And then we sent it back and forth like for a few days, and then it was it. That was it. And it just came out like a year later, and it's been doing pretty well.
And then now you're doing like sessions in person?
Yeah, now I'm doing sessions in like person with like all these different artists who I really like. It's really fun.
Yeah. Is that easy for you to like learn how to work sessions, or? No,
that's a skill I'm still developing. Like it's a lot different than having as much time as I want, like just in my room by myself, fleshing things out. Where it's like I kind of have like maybe 6 hours with these people, where like you probably like to have some sort of demo at the end of it. Like a lot of my stuff I did do in really fast sessions like that, but I feel like there's another thing of pressure when there's like other people in the room. I'm still getting used to.
So actually going back a bit, your name comes from Taking Back Sunday, like one of the lyrics, right?
Yeah. Their first album and their first chorus, the line is, "We don't stand for hazy eyes anymore." And I was just like looking for a name. I was just listening to them like I normally do, and I just heard that like phrase, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I just like stuck it in there so like people wouldn't like, I don't know, it'd be easier to find it with spelling and stuff like that.
Did you have a name before that?
No, I didn't. It was just like I think I even had like the EP that came out on Majestic Cat or Mr. Suicide Cheap done before I thought of a name.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a while ago. I kind of had that EP sitting on my hard drive for like months.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I'm glad it like happened.
How long ago was it when you did that?
That was like 2016. So like in the probably winter going into spring of 2016 was when I like made the EP. And I just kind of sat on it for a while, and it came out I think October of that year. So then, and then 2017 I put it on EP, and then now it's 2018. Yes. That's like the whole structure of my artist project.
What kind of, or which vocalist do you want to work with now?
Well, I actually have a new single with a artist named Yoklor, who I was a huge fan of before getting to work with him in a session. He was like one of the first sessions I ever did.
Oh wow.
And the song we have is great, but he's kind of like indie folk stuff, and that's kind of, I don't know, I have a liking to like unique vocalists. Like another vocalist, there's some pop ones, but there's I need to think of like vocalists I'd love to work with. I don't know. I'm open to working with anyone who's awesome. I don't really like, there isn't a like type of thing I'm looking for. So I feel like that's kind of a theme throughout my music. Like some of my stuff is totally over the spectrum of like our genre, and some of my stuff's super slow and like emotional, and some of it's a little more groovy and fast. So I don't think I need to specify one type of vocalist, but anyone who's dope is pretty much how I would describe it.
What's your plan now? So you're gonna finish college?
Yeah.
And then what's the plan?
I don't know. That's a question I gotta figure out in the like next couple months, because I think I'm probably gonna move to New York. And
really, why?
Well, it's closer to family over than out here, and I think not much happens musically in Philly. Like, it's nice and it's a cool city, but there's not really any sort of industry or sessions or anything going on there. So I think the first step is to get out of there, maybe move to New York, and then either find a part-time job while I wean off it, and then kind of do this stuff.
Yeah.
If it allows me, you know.
How do you see your music has changed since the early songs you made?
I think they're a little more fleshed out now. Like the first EP was literally like, there's a track called like Goodbye. I think I made that probably in like 4 hours. Like I just made a beat and like pressed export, and like that was it. Now I feel like I actually like give it a lot more thought and what the meaning is, what it's trying to convey and stuff like that, which I'm happy about. I probably should have been doing that from the start, but at least I'm doing it now.
How about the style itself?
I'm going a little more. That's a good question too. I want to start having more real instruments in my stuff. Like this new single that I have coming out. It has me playing guitar. Like it's the first time I think. I actually played like a real instrument. And there's also some real like actual like analog synthesizer tracks that I recorded in New York, like within the song itself. And now like some of the other stuff, like I'm trying to find nice pianos to record like organically and stuff, rather than just using everything just in the box. So I think it has a nice flavor to it. And I think that there's things you can do like with real instruments that can't be done just with a DAW.
Yeah. How would you say you've grown as a person compared to when you were younger?
Ooh. I'd like to think I've become nicer, but no. I think a lot of it just I've gained more perspective on things. Like it was easy for me to just kind of be like really naive and young in college and just kind of do what I want. But I think I'm learning that there's a lot of responsibilities that a lot of things I got to take on actually doing this full time, even from just like a business perspective, like making sure all my T's are my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted and everything like that. And I also feel like that just comes naturally as you grow up. So I think that's probably a big thing of how I've changed is I'm learning to be responsible.
What would you say have been your biggest challenges so far? Could be in life.
Yeah. I think the one now that's like I'm trying to figure out is what I'm going to do with my life. That's the challenge. Is what, if I'm going to take the plunge, or if I'm going to try to be an engineer for a little bit first and then take the plunge. You know, I feel like I'm coming to a head in my life, and it's going to happen in like 9 months, and I really gotta prepare for it. Right now I'm just kind of cruising because I'm like still in college. Nothing really matters yet, but everything will matter pretty soon. About how I'm going to live.
What does love mean to you?
Ooh. You know, I think there's a lot of components to that question, and it's a hard one to just give a straight answer for. But I think a lot of it has to do with personal happiness, and if you really enjoy what you're doing, and like not want to come home and like be unhappy every day, and being with someone who makes you like enjoy what you do no matter what. And that's what probably the biggest thing is for me, is like being happy.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people take that for granted, and like it's a really like simple concept, but I always see a lot of people who seem to be unhappy, and I don't know. I hope that I can find a way in life that leads me to be happy.
Yeah. Last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Ooh. Let me think for a second. What do I want to be remembered for? I mean, first and foremost, great music. I also hope I can be remembered for like being kind to people. Like I'd like to set up sort of foundations and stuff like that when I have like influence a little, because like right now I don't really have much, but I'd like to help people when I have that sort of thing. So I think a combination of those two.
Yeah.
And a great live show, because I know I've had a newer appreciation for how important a live like show is for an artist, along with everything else that needs to be there. But I didn't really understand that until I started playing live myself, and how like much time goes into it, how difficult it is, like to pull all that off and not have things break in the middle of shows, like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like I'd like to master that soon too.
Yeah. Sounds great. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
See ya.